people ask me, do I need to bury this kimchi in the ground?
Yeah, that's like, yeah.
We live in Los Angeles, and
I have one question though. I know why they do that, but a lot of people who is not familiar with kimchi, they were like saying, why do Koreans bury kimchi underground? Some people, have questioned. I know why they do it, but maybe Hejun could explain to these, people who's not familiar with kimchi, why Koreans used to bury kimchi underground.
okay, I get every time I do a kimchi class, people ask me, do I need to bury this kimchi in the ground?
Yeah, that's like, yeah.
We live in Los Angeles, in Southern California, where it's very warm, and if you bury your kimchi in the ground, your neighbors will hate you.
Yes.
In
They'll call the police and say something died.
at a higher latitude, it's very cold in the winter. And
Uh-huh.
when my parents were growing up, they didn't have electricity. They didn't have a refrigerator in their house. What they had was the natural cold outside, and they would bury these earthenware pots called ongi in the ground, and the ground around it would freeze.
Yes.
It would keep the kimchi inside very even, stable temperature, so the kimchi would be preserved for at least 3 to 4 months, November, December, January, February, until they had fresh vegetables in March
In the spring, yes.
again. But in the wintertime, the mother or the grandmother would go outside, open the clay pot, take out the cabbage that the family needed for that day, and then push everything back down, cover it again, and the kimchi in the ground would not freeze, but it was very cold, and that stable temperature kept the kimchi
Yeah.
very tasty for the whole winter.
But they use like a special pot, right? That Korean customary pot that used to bury underground. Because my friends, when I was young, they were making fun of me. They thought like we bury the kimchi without any pot, just kimchi itself with dirt. But that's not so, right?
No, no, they are an extremely great technology because the pots themselves are glazed, so the vegetables and the liquids are contained inside. There are microscopic holes that let the kimchi breathe in the.
Yes, yes.
So when the fermentation happens, heat is created and carbon dioxide, but the microscopic holes allow the carbon dioxide and some of the heat to escape out of the pot and remain that cold, even temperature. And the modern Koreans have these kimchi refrigerators that
Yes. That's where the idea came from, right? Because the right temperature of the winter days in Korean ground, they took that same idea and the Koreans created a kimchi refrigerator, a refrigerator solely for keeping kimchis in, right? To provide to create the best tasting fermented kimchi.
yeah, so your refrigerator will keep your kimchi at between 30 and 35 degrees Fahrenheit, which
Hmm.
is the optimal temperature for storing your kimchi. And in the kimchi refrigerator, the walls of the refrigerator are cooled, not
Hmm.
the air like in your regular refrigerator.
Yes, yes, yes.
Refrigerator is very hard to keep the temperature stable, but the kimchi refrigerator, where the walls are cooled, is very
Same
stable.
idea of like being underneath the ground in the old days. I hope whoever's watching, they understand and stop making fun of kimchi. Because my friends, if they're watching, they were saying, why don't you eat kimchi fresh? Why do you bury it and then become until it becomes a rot? No, it's not rot. It's actually fermentation. Now most people know that fermented food are really healthy with all these probiotics and they're really good for your body. That's why a lot of people are eating it. So please do not make fun of Korean kimchi, okay? It's really good.
I do have actually a Korean kimchi refrigerator,
Hmm.
but I don't have any kimchi inside there.
What do you have inside?
Nothing. I flush
Beer?
off.
You
I
have
flush
beer?
off. Yeah.
I heard a lot of people use that kimchi refrigerator because it's really good temperature just for like beer and stuff or
Yeah.
soju. I don't know if you ever they load that up too. So I think the technology with the traditional things combined together are actually improving a lot of the recipe from different countries, even Korean. And kimchi is benefiting a lot from technology.